Form 941 is a quarterly tax form used by employers to report federal income tax, Social Security, and Medicare taxes withheld from their employee paychecks. It is vital that employers learn the requirements for Form 941 so they can stay compliant. So I'm going to start at the beginning explaining each part of the form. Form 941 has 5 major parts. Part 1 contains information about employees, their compensation, and taxes withheld from employee paychecks. Part 2 is used to report deposit schedule and tax liability. Part 3 asks questions about your business. Part 4 is used to indicate any third-party designees, and Part 5 contains signature fields. Let's start at the beginning. First, you'll need to enter basic information about your business, including employer identification number, business name, trade name if any, and address. You'll also need to check the quarter for this report. Then in Part 1, line 1, you'll need to enter the number of employees who received tips, wages, or other compensation. Then in Part 2, you'll enter the total wages, tips, and compensation they received. In line 3, enter the federal income tax withheld from their paychecks. And if you don't have any wages, tips, or other compensation, check the box here in line 4 and move on to line 6 down here. Otherwise, use lines 5A to 5D to enter Social Security wages, Social Security tips, Medicare wages and tips, and taxable wages and tips subject to additional Medicare tax withholding. Enter that total, then on 5E, enter the calculated total of all these. And if you received a Section 3121Q notice of demand, you can add the unreported taxes on line 5F. Then line 6 is used to add together lines 3, 5E, and 5F. Complete lines 7, 8, and 9 if you have any adjustments for sick pay, tips, or fractions of cents. Then add together the totals from lines 6 and 9 and enter the total taxes after adjustments on line 10. Line 11 is used if you are claiming the payroll tax credit for increasing research activities. If you claim this credit, write the amount on Form 8974 and attach that with 941. In line 12, you must subtract line 11 from line 10 and enter the difference. If you're going to leave line 11 blank, then enter the same amount on line 10. Line 13 is for total tax deposits for the quarter and overpayments made in the previous quarter. Line 14 is the balance due. If the amount on line 12 is greater than the amount that appears on line 13, then subtract the amount on line 13 from line 12 and enter the difference here. Line 15 is for overpayment. Then we'll move on to page 2. Remember to enter your business name and EIN at the top of this page, and we'll start Part 2. This is your deposit schedule and tax liability for the quarter. You must deposit the taxes withheld. You might follow a monthly or semi-weekly deposit schedule based on the taxes you pay. If the taxes during the look-back period are $50,000 or less, you're a monthly depositor. If they're greater than $50,000, you're a semi-weekly depositor. Check box 1 if the amount on line 12 is less than $2,500 for the quarter. Check box 2 if you're a monthly depositor, and provide the totals for each month. If you're a semi-weekly depositor, check the box here, and you'll need to attach Schedule B. In Part 3, you have 2 questions about the business. On line 17, if your business is closed or you stop paying wages, check the box here and enter the final date you paid wages. On line 18, if you're a seasonal employer and you don't have to file a return for every quarter, check here. If neither of these apply to you, skip this section. In Part 4, indicate if you have a third-party designee. This could be an employee, a paid tax preparer, or another person that you want to discuss this return with the IRS. If yes, check yes and enter their details here. If no, just check no and move on. Finally, in Part 5, you need to sign. So you'll sign your name here, print your name here, your title here, your phone number, and the date. This section down here is only for paid preparers, so if you're a business owner, you won't need to worry about this. Finally, on this last page, you'll see the 941V. This is used in specific circumstances where you don't have a high tax amount. For more information about this, check these instructions here. And that's it. That's all of Form 941. If this sounds complicated, it doesn't have to be. With TaxBandits.com, we make the entire process simple, with helpful guidance throughout the form and an error check that will help you avoid common mistakes. Plus, our live support team is here to help you throughout the entire process. Get started today at TaxBandits.com.